Brewers Log April 24th, 2022. So tonight I got 3 new gallons of cider going. 2 of them are Whole Foods 360 apple juice or apple cider. I'm not sure what they actually are. I guess they are organic apple juice. So it's not an actual apple cider, but it's unfiltered, so there is a lot more pulp to it than there is in my Members Mark apple juice. And so they usually end up being a lot more cloudy. So these are one of the ones that I almost always use pectin enzyme. So all 3 of these, actually I put in a teaspoon of pectin enzyme, a teaspoon of yeast nutrient, and a third of the bag of SO4. The first bottle here is actually a Members Mark apple juice. I had a 3/4 of a gallon jug that I needed to get that I hadn't used. So it's 3/4 of a gallon of Members Mark apple juice, 2 cups of the Whole Foods 360 apple juice, and then I topped the rest of it off with water. Everything else in it is the same as the other 2 in the yeast nutrient and that type of stuff. It is also a cup of Stevenson honey. I found that I had 2 jars that hadn't been fully used up, so I ended up heating up some apple juice and cleaning those out. And then the other 2 jars here, one is Nate's honey, so I put a cup of, I pulled out a cup of apple juice, poured it into my first jug, and then I poured out another cup of apple juice so that I heated up and added in a cup of honey for the first one and brown sugar for the second one. This is the way I've done my ciders for years, and it seems to work out fairly well. And as you can see, both of these are still fairly muddy or cloudy, so we'll see what happens as they go along. Usually these are fairly interesting to watch them clear, because they slowly clear down and the top gets really clear after about 2 to 3 weeks, and they're easy to tell how they're doing, versus the apple juice doesn't always show the clearing quite the same way. But I'll try to record it as I go along and show the progress on it. But I've got them with their S-locks on them, and so hopefully these should start bubbling in the next couple of days. As you can see back here, my pie mint made with the Concord grape juice is bubbling away, so it's still got a ways to go, and we'll see from there. The one thing I did finish off tonight is that I have a glass of the Nate's honey that I started in January and racked on, I believe looks like the 2nd of this month. It went into the fridge to cold crash a week later, so about 2 weeks ago, or I guess about a week ago. I think maybe on the 9th was when they went in. And so instead of actually getting it bottled, I've just been drinking it, and I finished this one off. And as you can see, the glass is still, it's a little cloudy, but not very much. So there wasn't a whole lot of sediment left in this jar, but it did sit for 4 months, I guess, before it actually got racked. So a lot of the sediment was in the bottom, and I wasn't worried, or I didn't have as much after racking it. So part of the reason I cold crashed it, and I've been drinking it. I do have the other bottle that is brown sugar in the fridge that's cold crashing. Maybe I'll get around to bottling that. Maybe I'll just end up getting drunk like this did. So back there is my 3 Flowers mead. I'm probably going to put that into cold crash. It hasn't really bubbled much at all. And then add a little bit of sugar to the bottles and carbonate that, so I can start drinking it in a couple of weeks. So that was what I was able to get done tonight. Followed my normal recipe, though getting the sugar out of these old bottles was not easy. It took a lot of shaking and breaking it up, and then shoving the sugar down through the neck of the bottle, because there were still fairly decent pieces. So hopefully they all dissolve and come out fairly well. So kombucha is still doesn't have much of a Scooby yet, but I'm going to let it go a few more weeks. There's stuff starting, so it's definitely working. It's just not going as quickly as I'd want. Temperature down here right now is 66 degrees. and the Scooby does, or the kombucha does prefer to be about 75, so it may still be a little cold for it, and maybe the reason that it does take longer to grow. But I'm letting it go. We'll see how it comes out. Otherwise, that's all that I got done tonight, and hopefully I'll be able to continue doing this every week of getting at least a few more started, and hopefully get some keep them getting racked and keep them getting bottled so I have something to drink. So that's my current status.